Hi guys, welcome to my 2,000 subscriber Q&A. It's taken me a little bit to put this together, probably because I made this more complicated than it needed to be. But some people asked some questions about things like my process for editing and stuff, and I thought, why don't I just put together a very brief tutorial of how I do some things. Side note, I had some people list their names, whether it be on social media, of course, or YouTube, and some people were just like random anonymous user on YouTube, so some folks have names and some don't. Well, honestly, I think everyone's got a name, but I'll talk about on YouTube. Let's start off with Will Howard. Will asked a really cool question. He said, what's the biggest thing that you've learned by filming so many high-level players? I've actually been able to learn a lot of things that have transferred both to my filming and my playing. For example, when I was filming the Carolina Clash last year, I had a great conversation with Sarah Hokum about different things the other filming companies do. And one of those things was use headsets. A lot of times, whoever's filming is kind of like, especially Catchcam, they are your de facto spotter. So they can tell you things like, the green is clear, so you go ahead and throw, or hold on, there's somebody right around the corner, so they'll give you the high sign. Or if you can't see them, they'll let somebody know and say, oh, green's clear, you can go ahead and go. This comes from Cat Merch. It's just, no matter what kind of day you're having, try to keep things light. And that is super hard. I've had trouble with that in the past, as I'll get mad at myself and get down on myself when I'm playing, especially if I'm missing putts or whatever. And that helps me a lot. If I have a bad day on the course, I don't want to be the guy that's taking someone's good time on a weekend away from them. Filming Cat has been a great example for me in that regard. So YouTube user TRVRGRZ, not certain who that is, but they mentioned, what was your career before you started this channel? That's a great question. I actually spent 30 years as a music educator. About 15 years of that was as a high school and middle school band director, and the other half was as a college music professor, where I taught everything from history of rock to jazz theory to conducted college wind ensembles and jazz bands and things like that. I still do a lot of music things with my disc golf filming. As a matter of fact, all the music that you hear on this channel, I have written, composed, and recorded myself in our little home studio, which is actually where I'm filming now. When my daughter graduated college, we actually this was our garage, and we gutted it, and we had insulation and drywall and carpet put in, and we put up a lot of soundproofing panels and curtains and things like that, and turned it into a recording studio. She has a YouTube channel for her percussion stuff, where she does video game music covers and works in the video game music industry, and she's got a few thousand subscribers on her channel. So Daniel Camp, as well as a few other disc golfers, asked me what is more time consuming, the filming or the editing process. It's the editing by far. I can film a couple rounds in a day and then it's done, but the editing process takes a lot of time. And a number of folks asked me about my process, so I'd like to take the time to go through that process very quickly right now and show you what goes into that. First things first, I go copy an introduction from some other event and I put that in. Then I change the individual elements. Like on this one, I took from another round, so I'm changing the front 9 to back 9. But everything else is the same. With the exception of the drone footage, I've got to change hole 1 to hole 10, which I've done. Then I'll scan through and make certain everything's correct. After that, I grab all of the footage from either the front 9 or back 9 and I drag it in, and I'll chop it down when necessary. Next thing I have to do is I go through and put in the individual drone footage for each hole, the hole previews. The next thing I do is go and grab all of the coverage sponsors and put their logos in. After that, I'll paste an ending in there and make certain that the drone footage is representative of the actual course that we're playing. Have to make certain all the scores and stats are correct, so I go to the PDGA event page and get all of the information that I need from there. This includes the names, the scores, the round scores, and the rating for the round. Last but not least is the most painstaking, time-consuming part of the process, and that's putting in Catchcam, where I have to go shot by shot, person by person, throw by throw, and not only drag each individual piece of footage in, but make certain that it lines up and makes sense with the throw, and that it doesn't bleed over into the next person's shot. Michael Bowman asked me a pretty cool question. He's like, do you have different attire, or do you just rep your socks and shorts that you're known for all the time? So, funny thing, I always get comments about why am I wearing long socks. That actually came about by filming disc golf, and I've been wearing long socks ever since. When you're playing disc golf, sometimes and you get if your disc goes in a bad spot with briars or poison ivy or something like that, you can kind of gingerly work your way around into it and get to where you have a good spot to throw from. When you're filming, you don't have time for all that junk. You just have to jump right into it because other players are waiting on you. So I put on long socks as kind of a barricade to keep me from catching poison ivy or anything else, and then rock and roll right into it. James LeBob with I Got a 3 asked me a pretty cool question. What was your most profound aha moment while you've been filming disc golf? You might not realize this, but when you're filming disc golf, it's like you're literally playing from everyone's lie. So for example, if I'm filming main cam, which means I'm filming the tee shot and then following each player around, I'm literally going to everyone's lie everywhere on the course. So it's not uncommon for me on a day of filming to have 25 and 30,000 step days, especially if it's a long course like Holston Creek or Charlotte's Nevin Park. Mac Tobias asked me, how does your phone camera have enough space to record events? Good question. I'll preface that with saying that I film currently with an iPhone 15, though I'll probably be upgrading here to the 17 once all the bugs are shaken out of it. Currently have an iPhone 15 with a 1 terabyte hard drive. I typically film in 1080p HD. Each set of drives when I'm filming is about 100 to 150 megabytes. The same thing for putts. Upshots are typically about 20 to 30 megabytes. For the recent 3-round Hub City Amateur Championship that I filmed this last weekend, the main camera footage for Tiger River and Pipeline rounds, which we played the blue longer tees of those, they were about 5 gigabytes total for those rounds for the main camera shots. The longer Holston Creek course, which is about a little over 10,000 feet, that was almost 7 gigabytes. So even if you put that together, that's still not a lot of space to take up when you have a terabyte hard drive on your phone. Now, maybe the big question is, why do I film with a phone? I have an actual video camera, and I actually have a really nice camera setup that I bought from somebody about a year ago. It's got all the bells and whistles, but it's like 4 or 5 times heavier than my phone. Not only is the camera heavier, but then you have to have this massive tripod. When I use my phone, I've got this skinny little tripod with a phone clip I use on it, super light. And as I get older, I get tired more easily. I'll be honest, I want something that's light that I can run around with. Ryan Brazel asked me what's more fun to film, the MA1 or MPO divisions. I'm going to throw you a curveball and say it's actually FPO. MPO and MA1, they're a lot of fun, but sometimes they can be uncomfortably quiet. But FPO, never like that. Good round, bad round, it's irrelevant. They're always joking and having a good time and keeping things light. You can multiply that times a million if Cat Merch is on a card, and a zillion if Cat Merch and Deanne Carey are on a card together. They give each other hell the entire round, and it's glorious to watch. A couple folks like John Hollis and Daniel Elmore asked me what would be your dream card to film and why. I've got an MPO dream card and I've got an FPO dream card. So my MPO card would have to be, and this is just old school me, but I would love to film an old school Paul Macbeth, Ricky Wysocki kind of a grudge match round, them going against each other. They seem to bring out the best in each other, and for fun I just throw in Big Germ and Paul Ulibarri too. That would be a spectacular card to film. For FPO, it's been really cool to see the rise of a lot of European players and kind of break into the scene. So with that in mind, I'd love to get Kristen Lott on the channel, as anybody that films FPO would, and Silva Saarinen is another up-and-comer who has really had a great year this year. Other players, of course, Henna Blomroos or Evelina Salonen would be great to get on channel. And if you haven't seen a lot of Anniken Sten, I feel like she is the dominant left-handed FPO player. To be honest, we're talking about people that have burst on the scene this year. Ida Letomaki. Can't remember where she's from right off the top of my head, but she is hilarious. Couple more generic questions. What are your top courses you'd love to film at? Number one, Harmon Hills, outside of Johnson City, Tennessee. That is also my favorite course of all time. I feel like for a course to be an epically favorite course, you should be filled with this sense of awe and excitement and anxiety from the moment you step out of the car. And if you've never been to Harmon Hills and you step out of the car at that house and you look to the left and you see hole 1 and you kind of see where hole 2's at, and then you see the finish on the right hand side of hole 18, and then the back 18 of the course starts there. It's rolling hills of Tennessee and your jaw hits the ground from the moment you start looking. So if any opportunities come up, holler at your boy Tim Barr. I'm looking at you, buddy. If anybody knows Tim, the Tennessee TD, give me a call. I'd love to film up there. I don't know why, but some folks have asked me for a very quick in the bag. I am an AM player who has been as high as 9-10 and as low as places that I don't want to talk about, which is where I'm currently trying to dig myself out of a hole right now. But the very quick in the bag is this. I have 4 drivers, the Latitude 64 Glory, the Westside Bear, and 2 Latitude 64 St. Pros. The Discraft Drone, the Wasp, the Meteor, and 4 different types of buzzes. I also bag a Banger, GT Zone, and a magnet for upshots. And then I put with the Latitude 64 Keystones. As long as we're talking, why won't I shut up about the frickin' buzz? Well, because the buzz is my spirit animal. You can see, I'm kind of obsessed with the buzz. It just fits my hand right. And I don't know what it is, but I know that if something's wrong with my playing, if I just go out to a soccer field and find a straight line and I throw along that straight line, if the disc goes right, if the disc goes left, it doesn't do what I want it to, I immediately know what is wrong with my throwing. Because for me, the buzz is a pretty neutral disc. I can pop it on a straight line and it'll ride forever. But if it does something it's not supposed to do, then I know absolutely what's wrong with my playing. Last fun fact here, people always ask me when they see me playing, why are all your discs blue? Because of the buzz again. I was playing an event that Chuck Conley was running. If you know any event in the Carolinas by Spike Heiser, Chuck Conley is one of the best TDs of all time. And I was picking some buzzes out and I was like, Chuck, I can't make up my mind. And Chuck offered me the most sage disc golf advice I've ever had. Choose colors that are not naturally occurring in nature. If you do that, you'll never lose a disc again. And he was pretty much right, because you don't really see blue in nature, in grass, in trees, in dirt, whatever. So more often than not, I can quickly find my disc, especially in a tournament. That comes in handy. So last but not least is my 2K giveaway. I looked at all the responses and I wrote down the numbers in order of folks that commented, and I rolled a 20-sided die and came up with the name Will Howard. So Will is winning the giveaway, and it is this, a very slightly used Upper Park bag, one of their bigger bags. I used this for a few events this year, and honestly I recently switched to a Squatch bag, so I don't have use for this. So this very gently worn in bag is going to go to Will Howard. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully we'll keep moving forward and up, and maybe we'll have a 3,000 or 5,000 videos someday. Thanks again.